Hi, everyone. I just wanted to take a moment and go over this assessment since I have had a couple of you email me asking questions about the Marriage Through the Years assessment. So I'm hoping that I'll be able to clear up some of the questions. Now, if you are concerned that my responses back to some of the emails I've received have been a little vague, that is actually entirely on purpose. I really am trying to be very careful not to give you the answers to the assessment. And since the entire point of this assessment is for you to read the article, comprehend the information, and be able to extract relevant information for your timeline. And so that is the reason why I am not giving you explicit answers and when you're emailing me and asking for them, is because that is the entire point of the assessment. All right, so I am going to go over what I can with you today, but beyond this, there's really not much more I can go over with you without being unfair to everybody else who did the assessment without help. So let's talk about the assessment. So if you look at the directions, it says to create a timeline depicting the changes in marriage over the last 100 years. You need to include all relevant details from that time period. Those of you who are online, you will need to upload a picture of the timeline to your Canvas. Now, a lot of you have told me that it's easier just to use Google Docs. You are welcome to use Google Docs. That is just fine. Then you will either upload your Google Doc or you can copy and paste, whatever works best for you. All right, so let's talk about the timeline. So again, your job is to first read the article, and then once you've read the article, you are going to create a timeline. And for those of you who emailed me, I did send you an example of a timeline. I told explaining what you needed to do. However, there was still some confusion, so I'm going to try and go over that as best I can. But beyond what I'm doing right now, there's really not much more I can do without kind of giving away answers. So let's take a look at this article. Okay, so if you've read the article, you should know that the first two paragraphs are more or less just a summary of the information that you're going to read in this article. Then, if you continue on, you will see that it actually starts including dates. So right here, if we take a look at this first paragraph, it says, while loveless marriages still exist today, you wouldn't call them the norm. Right up until the end of the 18th century, though, love and marriage were mutually exclusive. Marriage was far too important of a political and economic institution. It was the way that the upper class signed peace treaties and made war. Okay, so we already have a date right here. 18th century. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to our Google Doc and we're going to type 18th century. And then underneath that, we are going to list the information we just barely got, which was that marriage was an economic and political institution. So it was not about marriage. Marriage was not about love. All right. And so that's what I would write for my timeline. Then as you continue on, you'll see that here in the second paragraph, it talks about marriage in the early 1900s. So you would read this and then again, put it in your own words, explain what marriage was like in the 1900s. Okay, so I would just type here and explain to you based on the article what was marriage like in the 1900s, and then I would continue reading the article. Here it talks about the 50s and it talks about the 60s and so on. So that is what you are supposed to do for your timeline. So again, I unfortunately cannot give you much more than this for the timeline because if I did, I would basically be giving you the answers to a test, which is not fair to everybody, but that is essentially what you do. Now, let's talk about what you need to do if you want to get a 4. If you want to get a 4, it says here, you are going to write a short 2 to 3 paragraph essay comparing marriage in the past to what marriage is like today. Again, I would use Google Docs. All right, you can just go ahead and type your essay at the bottom of your timeline right here. So you can just go essay and then type your 2 to 3 paragraph essay, just explaining the differences between marriage in the past and marriage today. Again, that is entirely optional. If you do not want to write an essay, you don't have to. Just know though, you cannot get a 4 on this assessment unless you do that. All right. So I hope that this explains a few things and that makes things a little bit more clear for you. If you do have any additional questions, you are, of course, always welcome to email me. However, again, if you need more specifics on which dates need to be included and everything like that, unfortunately, I really can't include that information with any emails to you, because if I did that, it would be really unfair to those who found that information on their own. All right. So I hope you all understand that. I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day, and I hope to see you all soon. Bye.